Hello, everybody out there in YouTube land. Welcome, astrology friends and family. Welcome to August. Eclipse activity starts now, and also we are in the thick of Mercury retrograde shenanigans as my neighbor's mowing his lawn. Maybe I can edit this out later. Anyway, we're just going to go with it. Yeah, so we're dealing with a lot of planets in retrograde. The outer planets are in retrograde. We have Saturn, Pluto, Uranus will start to retrograde in September. Mercury will be retrograding August 4th, and we won't clear shadow period until somewhere near the mid of September. Also, we'll be getting into the Chiron retrograde soon as well, too. Okay, so let's try and have fun while we can. Leo season, the next few weeks are the time to really keep enjoying, especially with everything slowing down. Vacation when and where we can, time spent with children, having fun, theater, outdoor theater, concerts, putting yourself out there, leadership in the community. Don't be afraid to take those chances, put yourself out there, put your work out there, your creativity. Now's the time with all this goodness in Leo. Love Leo season. I'm an Aquarius rising, so naturally I'm always, you know, loving all things Leo. They're my other end of the spectrum there. Okay, let's get into the eclipses because you will start to be feeling some of this eclipse activity. Now the eclipse will happen in September, but as you may already be aware, the feelings and rumblings of eclipse activity can start happening about a month before, and then it usually kicks off a new 6-month cycle until you have the eclipse in the opposite sign. What we're going to be experiencing is kind of the fading out of the Aries Libra eclipses. The last Libra eclipse will be in September, and the last Aries eclipse will be next March 2025. So we still have, several months to work on those themes of that axis if things haven't been accomplished yet in those areas. We also have Chiron still in Aries as well. Okay, so on September 17th, 2024, we're going to have a full moon partial lunar eclipse in Pisces at, let me check, 25 degrees. And this will be affecting those born with Pisces or Virgo placements anywhere from 21 to 29 degrees and 0 to 1 degrees of the cardinal signs, which are Cancer, Capricorn, mom and dad, Leo, or I'm sorry, Aries the warrior, and Libra the lover. All right, the eclipse will start to highlight all the things that are Pisces Virgo prior to the nodes shifting into those signs by next spring. We will have the nodes of fate and one last set of eclipses wrapping up, like I mentioned, on the Aries, oh goodness, Libra axis for the next 6 months. Okay, so knowing that, this activity can be felt now, I just kind of wanted to talk about that, especially with everything, so many planets being retrograde. Yeah, okay. So in the Pisces area of our charts is where we are going to see some of this activity. After having so much Aries self-directed energy over the past year, pushing us to take initiative and propelling us forward in that Aries part of our sky, and also healing a wound since Chiron has been there. We could have started to be aware of that and started working on that in the past year or so. And like I said, if you haven't done so yet or initiated something of great importance to you yet, don't worry. There are still several months left of this Aries Libra story, especially with Chiron and then also, the nodes of fate and the eclipses happening there as well. So what does this mean? So we will now be taking in and further integrating, the healing process, especially with Pisces and Neptune coming into the picture, forcing us to kind of slow down and integrate those changes that have been coming in internally or externally, slowly or rapidly over the past year. Rahu, the North Node, can speed things up. If you started your own business, for example, that would be like a very self-initiated Aries type of thing. Now and in the next year and a half, you could be developing like a sacred space in your home or devoting a special space to work in that, you can paint and decorate, plants, Doesn't have to be just for business either. It could be a sacred space you use just as your own, like getaway, quiet time to meditate, rest, writing, creativity, listen to music, to I don't care if you just go there to daydream. It will be a really great thing to do. All right. And now, although with Saturn here in Pisces until 2026, he's structuring those dreams to help you make them come true. So, any kind of like blockages you feel that you may come up against with Saturn there in Pisces, it's only to slow you down to make sure that the things that you're putting into place are solid and stable and can withstand the test of time. That's what Saturn likes anyway. The other end of this axis is Virgo, and Virgo will help you. Virgo will help you organize yourself to make those Pisces creative dreams come true. You can pull your projects out of the ethers and put them onto paper, to film, to clay, to actual music, to whatever it is that is your creative inspiration or muse. Lunar eclipses also can be a very emotional time. They can trigger relationship endings or breakthroughs, and even good breakthroughs can be emotional. I feel at this time and over the next year and a half, we can really find our way through that Aries wound that we've had, or maybe we didn't even realize that we had it. For example, like maybe Chiron in Aries has been transiting through your second house of self-worth and your face and your earnings, your bank account, what you put into your mouth, and maybe you realize you didn't know that you had a bad habit relating to food, and it's kind of come up to be looked at over the past year or so. Maybe you have an allergy that you found out you had and you didn't know it based on what you were eating, and now you have this time to kind of start integrating those changes. Pisces is very healing, heal your body or whatever might have ailed you. So we could really maybe start to make progress in standing up for ourselves as well. Aries is a warrior. Is not afraid of standing up for himself, herself. We can also have been learning how to not be codependent, and maybe we're starting to make our own money instead of depending on another. Maybe we're healing long-standing relationship issues or issues about self-worth, your body, your identity. These types of healing changes can be very emotional and even in a good way. And if you haven't, like I mentioned, seen these changes yet, not to worry. We still have several months left with the nodes of fate, Chiron, and the eclipses here to help you quickly make changes for the better in the Aries Libra part of your sky. Kind of grand finale next March 2025. This Pisces eclipse is the first in the cycle, and it's possibly just highlighting or giving that first little nudge of awareness or discontent around emotions, spirituality, relationships, as full moons and lunar eclipses can relate to relationships, your home, your family, motherhood, mothering, as the moon rules Cancer. And anytime you have lunar eclipses, you always kind of look to the Cancer part of your sky and see how that area is being triggered at that time as well. Crisis can happen as we are made aware of imbalances in these areas as well. Some relationships can end for new ones to begin if there's been trouble in those areas. And on the other side, if there have been problems that are being brought to light at the time of this full moon, there may be a path forward to find some healing, and maybe you can grow and progress together if that is something that you're in a relationship and you would want to work on. There can also be fulfillment of creative projects or drama at the time of the full moon, especially with it being the first in this new eclipse cycle. You can also get sudden dreams, downloads, or inspirations about creative projects, music, acting, film, etc. How to help maybe marginalized people's issues with the ocean, or maybe you want to start a nonprofit or become part of a nonprofit that helps ocean animals or comes up with fishing net solutions or oil spills. And really interesting note on that, just to kind of show you how the stuff is already starting to come into play, is I went to go get my hair trimmed the other day, and what I found out was kind of cool is that they charge an extra $2, a $2 fee when you're getting your hair, cut colored, whatever. And what they do is they use the clippings from the salon to make these hair mats that then are used to soak up oil spills in the ocean. And they're really effective at it as well. They just kind of, and there's a video you can watch online where you can see that, there's the oil spill, which is horrible. And they put these like hair mats in and it just kind of sucks it up. So already we're going to start seeing these types of things come to the forefront, which I'm really excited about because who doesn't love the ocean, right? Know that if you do come up with or receive, inspiration downloads, that you should act on them not at the time of the full moon, but act on them as in like writing them down. Keep a pen or your tablet or whatever it is you use to write on at the ready starting now. Know that these will be divinely guided, divine downloads. I don't think there'll be anything coincidental about this. Also, with this being the Pisces Virgo axis, and Virgo rules health and organization and service, work, pets, we could have health challenges that might come up to the surface at this time to be healed, or we could have endings to jobs that no longer serve our well-being, with new paths being illuminated to more fulfilling work, or spiritual paths might come through. Maybe you find a need in your community and you decide, you know what, I'm done with administrative work and I want to create my own or nonprofit or become a founder of my own nonprofit and helping children in my community who suffer from, not having enough to eat or clothing or school supplies. And you can start a small movement there, and that would be a really beautiful thing to do. So just an idea. Okay. Also, what are some other things that can happen? This is also the other end, because we're talking about the 6th house and the 12th house axis. 6th house also represents small pets, and that's in the Virgo house. A pet can have issues or pass at this time if they've been struggling with health issues, but also a new one can come in. New fated pet, and fears and addictions can come up at this time as well. 12th house does represent addictions, and we can find ways to heal our mind, especially with Virgo at the opposite end. We can look for and find a great and destined healer at this time. The Virgo axis can also help you get organized and clean up that area of your life if you are suffering from addictions or bad health habits, and get yourself pulled together, especially if you were in your head too much, or also if you've been unable to pull your dreams, out of the ethers or from your Neptune haze, those ideas and dreams can get lost up there. And Virgo is really good at solidifying things and making it happen. Excuse me. Let's see. Sometimes Virgo does strive for perfection and it can hamper our creativity. So we'll be working on trying to strike that balance, right, of the creativity and the day-to-day work, and trying to balance the two. At this time, you can, and especially now, right in August, we can start meditating. Anything with like water therapy would be good. Prayer, if you pray, and it doesn't have to be religion, it could be whatever God you pray to. Epsom salts, you could clean up your auric field leading up to this full moon. I always suggest safest bet is nature, rest, sleep. I always try to aim for like 7 or 8 hours, and it's almost always a win, especially preparing for those jitters that you can start to get during eclipse activation periods. Having magnesium to root yourself down a little bit and to kind of root down and anchor your nervous system. Magnesium-rich foods like black beans and sweet potato and stuff like that. But always check with your doctor or your dietitian if you have any kind of health issues or if you're unsure if you can eat those types of things. You can also make, little simple changes to your diet, like more water, fresh fruits, chemical-free food, vegetables. Try to do like a no alcohol. I know that might be hard for some, in these last beautiful weeks of summer that we'll be having. It's hard with barbecue or hanging out at the beach with friends, but maybe you can make a mocktail, something like that. Start working on a creative project. That's another great way to use this energy. Jot down those major insights that can happen now. And this is also a really kind of interesting period where loved ones who have crossed over may start to appear or send messages to you in odd ways as the veil begins to thin. These are just some of the ideas that I'm giving you, and I will describe what the beginning of this new cycle means for each of you in all of the 12 signs, and I will also probably talk more in depth about it the closer we get to the eclipse and, as we proceed with this, the shifts of the nodes and everything else. So, yeah, all right, well, let's get started.
Libra, Sun, Moon, and Rising, the Pisces eclipse will happen in your 6th house of health, service, service-oriented work, diet and exercise, and the day-to-day work you do to keep yourself healthy. Small pets also fall here, as well as jobs that are not necessarily your life's calling, but the work that you have to do to pay the bills. At this time, something could be revealed around these topics, giving you the first signs or inklings of the need to change in these areas. Also giving you a chance to find clarity, compassion, and spirituality, or a need to start incorporating these topics into the work that you want to do out in the world. A 9-to-5 can no longer continue, for example, as it's starting to maybe negatively affect your health, highlighting the need for more spiritual or compassionate work, or ways that you can earn. You could even be thinking or maybe now start planning a nonprofit business that helps the environment or underserved people in some way. The other end of this axis is your Virgo 12th house of faraway foreign places, past lives. The 12th house also represents rest, hospitals, self-enduing behaviors, foreign money, dreams, the hidden, deep spirituality. You can, over the next year and a half, create, work, and earn money by deepening your spiritual awareness and use perfection-oriented nature that comes from the 6th house in this house to assist others in their spiritual journey. And you can start to offer and I'm sorry, Virgo is the 12th house. When you start to assist others in the spiritual journey, and you can start to offer practical help and use your problem-solving skills, because Virgo is very practically oriented, very organized. You can use these skills to help others. An example of this would be developing a life coaching business with spiritual aspects. Alternatively, a bad habit or a behavior that was previously hidden from you in the 6th house there can be revealed, or something that you didn't even realize was a problem can come up to light now to be healed through the 6th house of health practitioners. It can also be a hidden health issue that comes to light that needs to be healed. Deep healing can come through your Virgo 12th house. Faraway lands, maybe the healer that you encounter will be a very faded healer, maybe with a foreign background. That could be a potential too. Issues with pets can happen now, or it is possible that you may need to let go of a pet, and over the course of the next year and a half, there is a possibility for a new faded pet to enter your life as well. You can also be doing work and earning money from overseas via PayPal or Stripe, for example. These issues can unfold starting in September, and also opportunities around these. The key will be to find the balance between the two houses, your 6th house and your 12th. On August 4th, Mercury will retrograde in Virgo in the 12th house until August 27th. There will be a new moon in Leo at 12 degrees as well on August 4th in your 11th house of lottery wins, hopes, wishes, large friend networks, large group networks, internet-based projects, humanitarian groups. And this new moon will be being sextiled by Mars and Jupiter in Gemini from the 9th house. These aspects will make trines and sextiles to your sun, moon, or ascendant around 7 to 17 degrees. This can look like new beginnings that you'll initiate around team projects, dreams, new beginnings around special groups. They could be Leo types of people in these groups, possibly famous people or celebrities can be involved in a new group that you join, or a humanitarian project. You'll be drawn to new people and expanding your social circle at this time. And with Mars and Jupiter in the ninth house, you could be traveling and meeting these types of people as well, very likely foreigners. With Mars and Jupiter in Gemini in the ninth house, which is also a luck house, you could be publishing, broadcasting. Maybe you could get gains from the 11th house, or just are starting something new, maybe like a film documentary series, and it will involve known people somehow. You can also be learning or improving your mindset with Jupiter and Mars here in the ninth house of the higher mind, and maybe having a new start around dreams and wishes and creative projects, very likely like using your voice or the written word, or just yourself in general physically. On August 5th, Venus moves into Virgo until August 29th in your 12th house of rest, hospitals, ashrams, the hidden, past lives, charity, self-undoing behaviors, where Mercury is retrograde and will move back into your 11th Leo house by mid-August. You could be retreating at this time or traveling far away, long distance, for business or pleasure. This is also a house of behind closed doors, deep intimacy. So take that what you will. So you could be on vacation and meet a love. It would very likely be like a past life love while overseas, or even like on a yoga retreat or in an isolated place somehow. With Mercury and Venus here, this could also be money news over the next several weeks from foreign shores, offshore banking. You may also just love being alone at this time to work on a communication project or just time to rest. You'd be away on vacation. But last but not least, there could be a secret love or a love that you are dreaming about, as Mercury is here and can bring vivid dreams or spiritual dreams that can be very prophetic in nature. On August 7th, Venus will conjunct Mercury at 3 degrees in the 12th house, further adding to all these aforementioned topics, especially if you have placements from 0 to 8 degrees Virgo. And Venus will continue to stay in this house for the next few weeks until August 29th. So you could really just be loving, being away, being in isolation, foreign shores. It's a great time to be away on a trip, especially with Mercury there. On August 19th, the full moon in Aquarius will be at 27 degrees, affecting late-born Libras anywhere from 22 degrees up. This will be trining you in your first house, or your sun or your moon. And this happens in your 5th house of romance, children's, sports, money luck, creativity, speculative gains like lotteries. This moon receives some hard aspects, however, from the outer planets. So it could be maybe some difficult news around some of those topics, or if a romance have been going through a tough time, it can end, or things can come to light for you to work through. And if it does end at this time, know that a powerful and faded new romance possibly that will transform you and your life, as Pluto is on the cusp and at the beginning of your 5th house, and this full moon is at the very end of it. So it could literally mean like the ending of one relationship for a powerful new one that will start to enter your life over the next few years as Pluto makes its way over that cusp of the 5th house. Alternatively, you could realize a creative project now that you've been working on and receive recognition for it, especially if it's tied to the internet somehow, or groups of people, or a humanitarian project, something like that. There just may be some confusion around it, or perhaps the results aren't quite what you were hoping for, again, because the outer planets are making some difficult aspects to this, like Neptune and Pluto and Uranus. But I think, over time, and then with this trine, however it all unfolds, I think ultimately will be positive for you, especially, again, the late degree Libras. On August 22nd, the sun moves into Virgo until September 22nd in your 12th house, where Mercury will move back through, and Venus already is here for a few more days. Again, lighting up 12th house topics. This could signify, just kind of a bearing away of stress, or clearing away of stress, burning away of stress, clearing the mind of like fear and deep subconscious patterns, getting rid of mental stress, as this can be a time of purification as the sun lights up where we need to make changes in the 12th house of the deep subconscious mind. It can also light up where you need healing, where you need rest. But also with Venus here, rest and recuperation and love behind the scenes can absolutely be happening now. Also, as these planets are here, they're prepping to enter your first house in a few weeks' time. And I'm giving you, a last chance here over the next few weeks to address anything that comes up now, and having you ready to emerge feeling lighter and brighter and ready to engage with your surroundings by the time that the sun moves into your sign in September. On August 27th, Uranus in Taurus in your 8th house of deep rebirth, transformation, intimacy, shared resources, transformation through intimacy, death, taxes, loans, shared resources. I think I mentioned that. Trines over to Venus and Virgo in your 12th house. And this could look like sudden 8th house issues like anxiety or heavy transformational topics around trauma can be released, or sudden healing insights can happen now. And especially if you've been working with a therapist or a counselor, as the 12th house is a place of release. This could also, again, be somebody who's a foreign counselor to you, or a foreign therapist or a foreign doctor. Maybe this is something that you have worked on for a while and behind closed doors, and the benefits of that can be very sudden at this time. There could also be money and love tied between the 8th and 12th house, and this is not light love. This is very, very deep love, very, very deep intimacy. Also, shared resources and investments with foreign shores. Both houses can represent love and passion as well, behind closed doors and in isolation, or a secret romance. The 8th house is also a house of magic in the occult, and the 12th is deep spirituality in the divine realms. And you could be receiving now psychic downloads or epiphanies or realizations on the state or near it as well. This can come through, your dream state, and it can be very healing in regard to the mind and the psyche. Okay, Libra, take care, and we'll see you in September.